Instead of just doing one of the symbols, we're going to be doing all 7. So you're going to have to do what Richard has just done with this, the autumn leaf symbol for all the other 6 as well, and find the theme that links them all. The idea being that we as people, there's 7 bits of us, and they have their own track, their life tracks, and we have to know all of those tracks and why that is who we are, or how those 7 things comes into the unification of who we are. So, Richard, do you want to discuss this with me?
Sure. So, James, tell us about the first point of your Elven Star.
Taurus 16, the old man attempting vainly to reveal the mysteries, is an image of some man who wants to share what he knows and is usually unable to reveal everything that is known. This is perhaps a negative image, except that if it were not for the difficulties that I find in presenting my ideas, I wouldn't look for different ways. So this frustration, as it, in one sense, of not being able to share what I know with people, is that which motivates me to develop more and more and more and more and more ways to try to do that. It ties in with my power animal of the sea turtle, which represents patient, plodding longevity. And in the words of the keywords for know, boundaries, identity, choice, and truth, I've always been this. And if anybody tries to kind of stop me from claiming the right to know what I know, I fight. You know, I set up a really clear sort of sense of I want my knowledge respected. You know, that's a feature of how I am as a teacher. It's not the pink and fluffy version. It's the you listen, I know what I'm talking to version. So that's the first point of the star. The second point of the star indicates how I came to gain the knowledge, expand the horizons of my interests. And this is aligned with the fox in my power animal sense. And it's the image of the Jewish rabbi that represents traditional knowledge. In my life, I have studied some mantra within Judaism, also Buddhism and Islam and Christianity. I've studied all of the traditions. And if anybody asks me a question about what's the traditional knowledge on this topic, I've studied that, so I can answer their questions. The Jewish rabbi is a figure of some learned quality. It's all about having the scholastic kind of learning and passing on the traditional knowledge, the traditional way of seeing this sort of spiritual wisdom that's being passed.
How do you link that to a fox?
The fox is tremendously adaptable. It's able to be strategic and cunning and work out that what was once workable isn't anymore. And what was once workable in the sense of Judaism or Christianity or Islam, it don't work anymore. And the fox is there to find a new way of being, strategically and cunningly reworking the old knowledge into new patterns, keeping in line with the image of the old man trying to find new ways to reveal the mysteries. So the third image I have is the purging of the priesthood in Pisces 25. And this links to the word thank you. And thank you is what I appreciate in people, how I form my loving relationships, my sense of beauty and love and harmony. And the purging of the priesthood is an image of not taking any corruption. Henry VIII purged the Catholic priesthood because they had become corrupt and they were overeating and they were into wealth and he just said, no, that's not the spirit. I mean, kicking it out. So I'm a bit like that in my sense of what I find, what I value and how I find my closest connections. There's no sense in which I would ever be comfortable if somebody was not being authentic. Any corruption, any imperfection, any bullshit, I can't take it. I just absolutely can't take it.
Do you have a power animal for this point?
My owl has the ability to see into the darkness. So if somebody's actually trying to put one over on me, I usually notice. I don't feel right, you know, and I've got the wisdom sometimes to see, to read between the lines. But the owl's also a hunter. I remember receiving the power animal image, and I remember getting, I'm a hunter bird, before I got the image of an owl. So it's not so much concerned with the wisdom of the owl, but the fact that it likes to attack. And I am rather attacking if somebody's trying to pull one over on me, you know, especially a close friend.
What do you make of the owl's ability to rotate its head a great deal further than humans?
I think that's in keeping with the night sight. You know, the ability to see more is the image there, isn't it? Having a deeper and wider sense of sight, you know, and it comes partly from looking. If you think about how I was examining the interview between you and me earlier, I was really looking for the detail and looking at various ways of interpreting the detail, like, you know, maybe this, maybe that, and you know, that's how I am. Even well, my image of the third point of the star relates to my sense of what I value, the essential beauty of myself. And I think that I was denied that as a child. My brother and sister had an influence on me to sort of, I didn't feel that I was right somehow, and it took me a long time to push out all of the stuff that stopped me from knowing myself to be as committed to beauty and love and those values as I am.
And do you now feel right? You said you didn't feel right as a child. Do you now feel right?
Better than ever, and not as good as it will be. I'm still progressing.
Okay, let's move on to your fourth point.
The stag is my power animal, so there's a sense of leadership and command. It's the mermaid image. The 29th degree of Leo is the mermaid, and the word goodbye here is the 7 words equivalent. So I'm looking with this image of what motivates me to make changes in my life, and the mermaid Elven Star image is the feminine principle resting in the unconscious ocean, becoming a human, and the yearning of that which is within my unconsciousness to express itself is how I see the mermaid image. And if I couldn't do that anymore in any particular scenario in my life, I would move on. I have moved on from one situation to another and another and another, and it's always for the same reason, is that I actually feel this circle, this room, this situation is too small for me. I got more I want to create. My mermaid is saying, like, you know, I've got all this unconscious stuff I want to get out and put into the world and make manifest in the world. And the stag is saying, well, go for it, darling, you know, you go for it, you know. And so I've got this kind of restless goodbye nature.
Do you still have a sense of yearning?
Oh yeah, I haven't been nominated for the Nobel Prize yet for some reason I didn't understand. There is no limit to my imagination and my ambition, you know.
And does that sense change when you embody or think about the stag compared to the mermaid?
Well, it was quite difficult for me to reconcile those two images. They seem so very, very different. But I kind of see them more as the consorts now. The mermaid needs some more forceful energy to get out into the world, and the stag is that horns, power, you know, noble beast. So I aspire.
Let's move on to please, and the fifth point.
Aquarius 3, the deserter from the Navy, is taking this image of goodbye one step further, whereas I would be loyal to certain organizations, let's say, for example, the Sufi orders. And I've joined several Sufi orders at different times, only to find that I tend to get close to the center of things by my nature. And when I got to the center of even Sufi orders, I found it wasn't good enough. It wasn't right for me. They weren't there, and we have the purging of the priesthood kind of thing going on. They weren't teaching Sufism in the West. They were teaching Christianity and calling it Sufism, according to my sort of sense of it. So again and again, I've actually been with this group of people, and I've been loyal to that group of people until I discover that, oh no, that's not right. And I'm deserter. I desert from that group. And that the reason is because the vision that I have, the visionary intention that I have, is to find the answer to all of my questions, to become realized. And I wouldn't be able to do that if I was hanging around with other people who were not realized. Power animal for this one is the dolphin, which is making it quite easy for me to do this. It's never difficult for me to leave anywhere and move on. And I just think it's fun. It's part of the game of life.
Do you associate the dolphin in any way with the turtle?
No, I haven't. I mean, I can see why you are, but I haven't made that connection myself.
Okay. Let's move on then to sorry, and the sixth point.
My unicorn. And the 8th degree of Cancer is the rabbits dressing up and going on parade. Rabbits aren't supposed to wear clothes and be on parade, but they are doing that. And this fake it till you make it principle is present within me, where I've frequently copied the exact behavior of my current teacher. And so my first teacher really was a dance leader. So I just learned every song, learned every intonation, learned everything that guy did. And then I did it. And I was really, really bad at it. And so I did it again and again and again. And I kept on pretending that I was a dance leader until people started to treat me like I was a dance leader. So, okay, that's how it worked. And I did that with my Sufi guide. I just remembered every single thing he did, and I did it in exactly that way. And I went to Lithuania to do it mostly. And eventually these students there started to treat me as if I knew what I was talking about. So I claimed the role as a Sufi leader and so on. I've taken that role of walking in the footsteps of a master in order to develop mastery as a way of being.
So if you were going on parade today, what would you wear?
The image that answers this question, I'll show you. Can you see it?
Yeah.
So you're all familiar with this image by now. That's my current guide.
So do you experience yourself as that? Do you yearn for that? What?
Over the last 3 years, I have moved from understanding that this being is helping me with my work to recognizing that this being is an aspect of myself in a different dimension and location. I call him Sophius. He is the master of a circle of 33 elders on the planet Asterion. And Asterion's functionality is to hold truth alive. And I believe that I'm the enactment of Sophius as a kind of ambassador on this plane, or aspiring towards that role at the very least.
there's a lot there we could unpick. We don't have time right now, but let's, so say, if you will, a few words about your unicorn.
The unicorn came to me in a vision in 1987, and by trusting that it was meant to be and using the unicorn symbolism, I became a teacher. I had opportunities to teach on the unicorn camps and became what I am today by following the guidance of the unicorn. The unicorn's qualities are the perfection of balance between male and female. You have a white purity of being, a being of light, who lays its head in the lap of a virgin and becomes very innocent and is noble and pure, and yet is a very powerful animal with a very clear kind of statement of the yang principle on its third eye, the power of mind. And it is my attempt to develop such perspicacity and clarity and sharpness of mind, and at the same time being open-hearted and soft. That's my highest aspiration.
Thank you. And then finally, please, yes, the seventh point.
My centaur. I was so excited to get my power animal to be a centaur. Sagittarius 12 is the flag that turns into an eagle that crows. The flag is an image of loyalty. It's turned into an eagle. An eagle is the image of oversight. You can just see. You don't have to be loyal. You can see what needs to be done in any moment without the guidance of a group. And this eagle is crowing. Well, crowing is announcing and saying, like, I know the truth. This is what the truth is. And for me to be willing to do that is just not the easiest thing in the world for me at all. I've got a Scorpio midheaven. I tend to hide in the public. And even though I know I'm showing myself to the public now, and some would even say that that's an outrageous kind of expression of self, it's not. The last question that you gave me was the first time ever anyone's actually put me in a position of awkwardness in my whole life, because I'm revealing something in the spirit of openness and disclosure to this group that I've never been willing to reveal to others before. And it is to do now with this word yes that I'm being required to say yes in a way that I've never said it before, to something that wants to come through me, that I previously rejected absolutely wholeheartedly. Back in 1985 on Easter Monday, I was in the presence of a group of mediums. Well, a friend of mine was a trance medium, and an energy tried to use my body for communication, and had not asked my permission. I was taken by surprise, and I ardently refused it. I battled with it, knowing full well that nothing was up to could match me. I mean, that was the most wonderful thing about that. For the first time in my life, I realized that I could handle the spirit realms in a way that they would find most uncomfortable, you know. And whereas all my friends were saying, "Oh, you've got to be very careful when you go into the astral realm. You know, you've got to be so careful when you're dealing with these kind of jinn spirits." I said, "Nope." The jinn spirits have to be very careful when they're dealing with me. And I just turned my whole life around with that attitude statement. And yet I still won't form right relationship with these spirits, or let's put that differently, I haven't up until very recently indeed, when I interpreted my yes and my eagle that crows as being the request. Now I'm being asked permission. They're asking my permission. Am I willing to be spokesperson for something that's wanting to come down into the human realm now? And I assume that is taking the form of the Elven Star work, and I'm responding to the call of the elves, whatever they are.
Mm.
The fact that it's my centaur, it's a power animal, makes me feel absolutely, totally comfortable with the fact that anything that comes my way, I'm a centaur, or at the very least I've got one on my team. I don't, however confident I might have been before within that realm, I'm super duper confident now. So I'm much more willing now to speak out and to announce that, yes, I've got a message to deliver